In early September, I was invited out to Techland's headquarters in Wrocław, Poland. Hopefully I didn't butcher that pronunciation, to check out behind-the-scenes stuff about the upcoming solo expansion for Dying Light called The Beast. As I landed, I had the 28 Days Later theme playing to get myself in the mood. Well, it kinda spooked me a bit too much, but I got over that because I got to meet some awesome content creators from around the world and community members, doing some putt-putt and go-karting, but of course, you know what your boy was most excited for. Zombies, baby! And boy, that life-size volatile had me acted up.
Huh?
I got to do a lot of stuff up at Techland headquarters, seeing how the sound production was done for some of the zombies and some of the Foley, seeing how the art team puts together skins, the visual department's take on the sprawling villas and swamp environments of the new map. So much behind the scenes stuff. Hell, their office building was legit so damn cool. There were zombie prints on the walls, there was people working on computers and staring at me like I was the devil. There was even a giant slide that was in their dining area that you could go down. It was so freaking cool. No matter where you went, there was some kind of zombie stuff going on. And they even took us to this giant theater just so we could see a short demo of the DLC leading up to the first boss fight. And boy, oh boy, Crane is back with more guns and has zombie superpowers now. Yeah, you heard that right. That mofo was picking up concrete barriers and throwing them like footballs. The hype was real. Techland even had a recreation of the Fish Eye Bar in their studios from Dying Light 2 to hang out in. I went ahead and messed around in there for a while. I drank. I might have got a little drunk. I didn't say nothing. I almost broke a few things while everyone else was getting interviewed. Don't tell the people at Techland that, but we got to see Poland and the beautiful architecture, streets, and sights. An amazing experience that I cannot thank the staff at Techland enough. On top of that, I got to interview the lead creative director, Timon, which the interview was phenomenal. But I have to say this ahead of time, every one of us content creators was only allotted 15 minutes to talk with him. However, I was the first person to go up. And I used to have this history of interviewing musicians in college and not having a time restraint, so I got tunnel visioned and was not paying attention to anyone except Timon, so I kinda went and got almost 10 minutes overtime, despite one of the team trying to wave me down in the corner. But hey, it was fun, and I've got the full interview coming up here in just a second, excluding a part where they had to edit it out. My brain farted, and I did not know what to say to him because I was so excited. I didn't say anything for like 45 seconds. I was sitting there going, but I believe it turned out okay. This is just kind of an off-the-cuff video. But anyways, let's get right into that interview with Timon. So, nice to meet you, Timon.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
I loved your luau scene in The Lion King.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes,
I don't know how often you hear that.
I couldn't bring my friend Pumbaa here, so I'm sorry for that. But he also told me to say hi to you.
Okay, heck yeah. So, you brought us in. I came here all the way from Texas to come see y'all. It's been fantastic. We got to see the trailer for The Beast yesterday, which it was beastly. I mean, we got to rep it.
Yeah, beastly.
But I got to say, I've been a zombie fanatic since I was 4 years old. My uncle had me hooked from the Dawn of the Dead stuff. And just seeing everything blend from like y'all's inspirations from George A. Romero stuff, 28 Days Later, even, I mean, I can go and take this off for now, but like even some inspirations from Left 4 Dead, I feel like there's a lot going on there. And so with The Beast, my favorite thing about zombie games, it's not only being the survivor and like gibbing the infected, watching the blood go everywhere, but it's also to go from the perspective of the zombie. And in Dying Light 1, we had the Be the Zombie mode.
Yes.
And I was slightly disappointed we didn't have that in 2, but I feel like we're kind of going back to it with the Beast and Kyle Crane's abilities, because one thing that was fucking awesome, I mean, that's all I could say, is Kyle Crane just went berserk and he picked up this concrete roadblock and chucked it at this big motherfucker. What was it, the behemoth?
Yeah.
Yes, and I was like, holy shit. So I was like, there was the Night Hunter. So are we getting something in the same nature towards the Night Hunter, where you're going to have abilities from your kind of getting a skill tree of abilities and whatnot?
I think I'm ready to answer, but first things first, can I say also motherfucker and fuck and all of these curse words as well? Okay,
oh, hell yeah.
Okay, that's good. So I'll try. I see if they fit. But now getting back to your question, of course I cannot reveal anything and I cannot spoil anything. But yes, what you have witnessed, this is a set of skills, powers, abilities that Kyle Crane will get access to. And yes, those skills in the lore of the game, they are coming from the experiments that have been conducted on him. And those experiments, like a merit of them, essence of them, was combining Kyle's DNA with the DNA of the infected.
Okay.
So
of the
it's
Haran
not...
Is it the Haran virus and the THV?
A
little bit.
Okay,
it's like, a little bit of intertwining there.
There's a lots of kind of intertwining there. Maybe without going into specifics, because there will be bits and pieces in the game that you will have to discover by yourself. Yes, exactly. Pick up the pieces and kind of combine, like try to discover how it all ended up where they are.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely you will be able to experience how it feels to be more than just a human, more than be just the survivor. You will get access to those skills, and in terms of gameplay mechanics, gameplay design, there's a set of skills, actually a new skill tree connected to that, kind of similar to what we had in Night Hunter and Be the Zombie. So yes, I think yes. I'm not sure if this will really satisfy your appetite, because maybe you just would like to experience the life of this slow moving, like a classic zombie. So that's not it.
Yeah, not like the classic zombie where it's the Romero stuff, more of the 28 days later, just type stuff like that.
Yes, so you will get frenzy, you will get hype, you will get faster, you will jump higher, you will deal more damage, you will do lots of crazy stuff in that form, in that type of existence for Kyle.
Because I remember at the end of the following, there was 2 different endings, and it was kind of left up to your interpretation if either he transformed or if his ass got nuked. But it looks like the nuke ending's not going to be the canon ending. We're going to be following that. And I saw that the timeline that y'all posted, that Dying Light 1 was in 2015,
yes.
15, and then Dying Light 2 was set in 36. So this is going to be a little bit after that?
Yep.
So they've been experimenting on him for what, 20 years?
13 years, actually.
30 years.
I know this is a little bit maybe confusing, complex, so let me explain that. So yes, what the gap between those 2 games is roughly 20 years.
Okay.
But Kyle, what we are saying is he has been experimented on for a shorter than that. So there is a gap, and of course the game will reveal what happened in that gap.
Yeah, because I was wondering about that, because I guess he got caught. I know you can't say anything about the specifics because, I mean, story, you want to keep that secret so people can experience that for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the biggest treasure of the Beast, that it reveals a lot of stuff from the history of the series. And actually what we want to do is we want the Beast to answer some of those questions that you and other fans have. So no spoilers now, no spoilers before the release. You will discover all of that in the game. But yes, he has been experimented on by this guy named Baron. Baron is kind of the nemesis of the Beast. And as I said, Baron was trying to create something of a hybrid between DNA of human and infected of a zombie. Of course, Kyle Crane is not a regular human, because he has already been kind of impacted by all of
both viruses.
Exactly. So there is like a nice, I think, science theory behind it that explains all of this, and bits and pieces of it are hidden in the game. You will have to discover that.
Okay, cool. Oh, but just kind of the environments and stuff too. It's a big total shift, because because Left 4 Dead's a big inspiration for me. So Dying Light 1, it was a more darker undertone with it. And Dying Light 2, I felt like it was a lighter tone. It still had some of the dark atmosphere. And I know some people had complained, it's just like, it's not like Dying Light, it's darker and whatnot. But I enjoyed the hell out of both games, because you have to have the diversity in games to make it more enjoyable. But I feel like the Beast is kind of going back towards the more darker undertones, especially with how the weather system is. They're going to have thunderstorms and whatnot. It's going to be cool, but
I think it's okay to say that the Beast is getting a little bit more towards the feel, the atmosphere of Dying Light 1. As you said, diversity is okay, and we want to have actually each of those games to have their unique feel and atmosphere and kind of the tone and how you feel about them. But definitely the Beast is closer to Dying Light 1, maybe in some aspects how you feel, how you experience the world around you. Maybe it's even darker or more tense or more focused on survival, of the survival feel. Definitely we want you to kind of get that impression that it's not a walk in the park. That okay, maybe there are trees, but it's not a walk in the park, right? This is actually something quite challenging, quite difficult, not in a like a frustrating type of way where you just throw your controller at the wall and you just don't want to play anymore. But definitely it's not a game where you just jump into situations without thinking, without preparation, just slashing and smashing. Dying Light 2, yes, we went more towards the action kind of like direction, and wanting to make the game more accessible, but we have also heard the voices of community that this is not exactly what they expect from Dying Light. They want to be tested, they want to feel challenged. So Dying Light, so the Beast, I think, will give them that. Of course, with all of the improvements and all of the knowledge that we have learned over the 10 years of history of the series, and also with the improvements in tech. As you said, the weather effects are an important part of the Beast. We have spent really a lot of time on the tech side to make an immersion better, deeper in the Beast. So hopefully it will work. You got a super privileged way to see the Beast in a cinema. So of course it instantly increases the immersion, right? You're in a black room, just focus on the big screen. But I think this is an experience that when the game is released, it will be something that players will be also able to kind of mimic, feel, experience at their own houses. But of course, I kind of recommend to play the game at dark because I think this is the best experience.
I was about to say, you definitely need the dark tone because that helps a lot.
Yeah, but this is like, if you play Dying Light, play it in the dark, focus on the screen, headphones or good kind of audio setup so you can hear everything that's happening and get really immersed into it. This is generally one of the biggest goals that we have for Dying Light in general, that we want players to feel like they are a part of zombie apocalypse, and now they have to survive. And the Beast will also bring that, hopefully.
I felt like it was a great decision because a lot of people were clamoring for whatever happened to Kyle Crane. I feel like this is the best way to go about it. Instead of, I know we still want to see what happens with Aiden and seeing if he comes back, but I feel like with this being kind of a hybrid of stuff that y'all had in Dying Light 1 and Dying Light 2 and kind of meshing it together in a more condensed area, because you said it's not going to be a really big map. So instead of it just being giant pockets of emptiness, you're actually like go here to here and there's a lot you can do. So I feel like bringing Kyle Crane back was a great way because, I mean, he's a hybrid, he's human, he's got a lot of whatever's going on in his DNA these days with the experiment. So I thought it was a great idea to kind of blend 1 and 2 with him to bring him back.
Thank you. What I can say is I fully agree with this. Actually, the decision that we've made to have Kyle Crane back in this one was like a catalyst of creativity and I would say like a deeper, more mature thinking about the game, and definitely it inspired everything about it. So in a way, it also inspired what you said. I think it's the game that connects the best of both worlds, of Dying Light 1 and Dying Light 2, answers some of the questions from Dying Light and Dying Light 2. Hopefully, I think it also builds its own identity, because like every game needs to have its own identity, its own kind of presence, its own characteristics. Like from my perspective, I think the Beast is the game that every Dying Light player should experience, because it closes everything that happened to this point and also opens us for the future.
It answers some questions, but you get more questions that come from it, so it's
but those new questions are definitely forward facing.
Okay, heck yeah. And you were saying stuff about making your own identity, because I keep bringing Left 4 Dead back up because, I mean, that's how I got back into, that's what started YouTube, and then Dying Light was a big thing to push me forward with zombie stuff. When you were talking yesterday, you were like, yes, there's guns and there's going to be gunplay, but do not think of this as a shooter game. It's an option to put in there, but we still want to focus on the melee combat, because a big thing with like Dead Island to Dying Light is the melee combat, keeping things close and personal, because with zombies, they're not going around shooting guns and stuff, so it makes that moment to moment, it's more intense instead of just sitting back, kind of like Call of Duty Zombies where you're sitting there. So I appreciate that you're like, it's not going to be just a shooter. Don't have that in mind. So
Absolutely, like Dying Light is all like it. Like when you look at the design docs for the first game, you see that it has three pillars, three gameplay pillars. The first one is the day and night cycle, the difference between the night and the experience. The second pillar is the natural movement, the freedom and agility with which you traverse the environment. And the third pillar is visceral, in-your-face, melee combat. And it was very important for us to get that feeling that you just mentioned, that the zombies are up close, that you feel their presence basically right next to you. When you hit them, you feel the heat.
You can hear it, you can feel the impact.
Exactly. So this is definitely kind of the most important part of Dying Light DNA, and we will never abandon that.
And especially with the Dying Light DNA, y'all are responsive to y'all's community, because I remember when Dying Light 2 came out, everyone's like, where's the guns, where's the guns? I know that was a big point of contention. You guys brought them back. Y'all brought back the animations for when something's stunned. You can have like, I love the one with the katana where you just hit him right in the between the head. Fucking awesome. That's the kind of stuff I love, is gore systems and whatnot. So it's cool that you guys are so responsive to the community. I mean, you brought all of us here just to see everything and talk and get our opinions. So it's really appreciative that you all actually listen, because there's developers, they say they listen, but then they're like, we brought some people in, we're gonna go do our own thing, fuck them, you know.
Thank you for that, but like I think for us it's part of our nature, and we also understand that okay, we of course we are creatives, we are creatives as well. We work in creative business, so when we create a game, we understand this is our game up till the point when it's released. But when it's released, it's not ours anymore. Now we share it with our community, and of course those voices are super important. So, like, for us, it's obvious.
Yeah. So on the perspective of voices, my favorite thing about like apocalyptic scenarios is seeing the perspectives of different areas in the world. And we've gotten the fictional city of Haran, and then Villador, and now we're getting what's the name of the woods that we're going to?
Castor Woods.
Castor Woods. So I'm enjoying the perspective that it's such a giant shift, because it was the small European towns of Haran and then Villador. We were driving around, I was flying in, I could see a lot of inspiration for Villador just going around here. And Roslaw, is that how you pronounce the?
Wrocław.
Wrocław, okay. I was saying Roslaw like it was coleslaw, so I'm sorry about that. That's the Americanism in me. Yeah. But one thing I was wanting to ask is the future of Dying Light. Are y'all ever going to go outside of the scope of Europe? And I know you probably can't answer because that's a huge thing to go from, but another thing I could follow up with is if you could just snap an expansion or a new game, if you could choose any spot in the world outside of Europe, like the Asias, Australia, America, is there something that you would be like, I would want to do that?
Like, it changes every day, basically. And of course, just to be clear, the fact that I'm Dying Light franchise director doesn't mean that I say it and it happens, right? Because there's a whole team of people doing this. So whatever I say right now, please don't think that
no. Yeah.
What I will say will happen.
But
today, if you ask me today, my thoughts are mostly around Asia, maybe southern, eastern Asia. But it's just, you know, like, I see potential there, I see potential in other places as well. So every day is different. But yes, one day, at one point, we would like to definitely explore different localizations, different kind of themes as well, maybe even different, how to say it, maybe not realities, but time periods. I think there's like the Dying Light formula. I think we are, after 10 years, we have defined it quite precisely what it is, and especially with community being super opinionated and loved about it, this also helped us to kind of formulate what Dying Light means. But I think the formula can be applied to a lot of different, as I said, time periods, locations. I know, maybe even realities. So definitely, I think I see there's space for a Dying Light game, which doesn't take place today or like in the near future in this part of the world. Definitely.
So you're talking about time periods and whatnot. One of my favorite aspects about zombie apocalypses, apocalyptic scenarios in general, is when shit hits the fan, so to speak. and the fall was when everything had happened. And one thing I would always want to see is maybe an expansion in the future where maybe we got just a glimpse of when things first started. Is that that ever be kind of a concept, or is was that mulled over and it was like, nah, we'll leave it up to
Of course, right now we
interpretation?
are focusing on the Beast, and usually when we
So
do,
going
we
forward.
just work on the game that's at hand, right?
Yeah.
So it's Dying Light 2, the Beast, Dying Light, like those are the two titles that we are working on. But of course, there are moments where we just stop for a second and have those creative, let's say, brainstorms, discussions, trying to think what we could do. And of course, this concept was one of the concepts that kind of popped out at some moment. So I would also love to see that. This can be explored either by a game, I don't know, a movie, maybe a comic book series, maybe a board game, maybe something else, because we also have different options for that. But yes, I think that would also be quite interesting for players to see the moment when, in the world of Dying Light, with all of its rules, the moment where, as I said, shit hits the fan and suddenly the civilization collapses. So definitely very interesting.
And another thing, we had like a panel where they were talking about the environmental art and whatnot. I was enjoying the contrast because you go from like the dark, murky swamps to the forest, and you go to the one they focused on was these rich villas and whatnot. Oh, so what was it like, just kind of like bringing that to life, of just talking about just going from the forest to kind of having bits of civilization instead of kind of like Villador where you have towering buildings all around you. It's a big contrast to go from a metropolitan city to go to the forest with some villas.
As I said, I think every Dying Light game, like with every Dying Light game, we are searching for identity for it. And
something to set it apart.
Yes, something that sets it apart. And for the Beast, we wanted to have an environment different than everything that we did before. So even though you might think, okay, so it's like more rural, so maybe it's a little bit more like the Following, but it actually isn't, because Following is full of empty spaces.
Yeah.
This is very dense. Every building is placed kind of by hand, handcrafted, with lots of secrets hidden in it. So that was the direction that got us inspired, excited about the Castor Woods, and when we were forming it, those were the thoughts, the design ideas we got excited about. So that's how this happened. Definitely the main important driver for this was to do something unique, something that players have never experienced in Dying Light before.
So with everything being condensed, I remember when we were watching it, I even saw graffiti that said, "Don't open dead inside." I was trying not to say "Don't dead open inside" because that was a Walking Dead reference. And I was like, I love seeing references to other zombie media and whatnot. So it's the moment-to-moment stuff, like you were saying, that you can actually find some Easter eggs or see stuff.
Yes.
So
Easter eggs, and then of course expect a lot of Easter eggs in the Beast. Of course, like obviously, like we start putting them in only at the end of the production when like we're sure that the game is in good state, so we can actually spare some time on having a little bit more fun with it. And yes, you can expect quite a lot of very interesting Easter eggs in the Beast.
Oh, heck yeah. So I wanted to ask some personal, because I know we're probably having a wrap up here soon, but just some fun questions to throw in there. So if you got infected with the Haran virus, what infected do you think you would turn into? Would you be a shambler, the runner? Would you be a volatile, or maybe even go into the toad?
Like it's of course it's a hard question, because each one of them has some like pros and cons. Like I would say volatile, because he's the
He's
apex predator. Yes,
and I mean, you got the head for the volatile
exactly.
too.
But then come to think of it, he just he spends his time out only during the night. Like he has to be tense, constantly on his like active.
Yeah.
Then maybe Demolisher, the big guy, right?
Yeah.
So something that like you would
Getting
like to be,
swole,
but then he's also gets angry. Probably this is bad for his cholesterol level.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I feel that.
So maybe just the biter, just the regular guy, because then you just use super chilled. You just stand
chill,
on
you just
the
sit
street.
there.
Yes, no one really bothers you that much.
Kind of pass out wherever you feel like in the dark.
So actually, when you started asking, I was thinking maybe one of the big guys, but now after this, I think actually the super chilled, just regular zombie, regular biter that just stands there.
It seems stressful
Kind
being
of
a
vibes a little
special.
to the music. Yes, so that's my choice.
Okay, heck yeah. Now another thing is, one of my favorite things wrapping it up. Okay, well, that's all the time we got, guys. Well, thank you so much. Oh, and one more question before we go. I have to ask, Kenny, I'll put some red glasses for Kyle Crane.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Timon. You were
Thanks
fantastic.
so much. Thank you.
And stay well.